Not gonna do too much talking. Let's roll the tape. Patrick Mahomes throws this pick on the game-sealing drive. All right, so look at it. Look at the right side. They're manned up. Both guys are playing in a press position. This is a disguise coverage because you want to get the quarterback to get his mind running, to get him thinking, okay, they're both pressed up. Are they manned up on both sides? What are they playing? Is this cover 2? Is this man? Is this press cover 3? You want his mind to be thinking about all the possible scenarios of coverage that you're in. But the beauty of playing defense, you can always throw different looks at quarterbacks. And here we have a disguise coverage. On one side, they're playing man. On one side, they're playing zone. But if you look at this play, you just look at it, any casual football viewer would think, okay, they're manned up across the board. But no, they're not. They're not manned up across the board. And we're going to see this as the play runs. And where Patrick Mahomes gets confused, he sees they're manned up. On the right side of the field, he has a drag by Hartman. So his eyes are locked in on that. He never gets his eyes off of that because if you think it's a man look, you're going to want to throw that drag route because he's going to win with his speed on a route like this. But look at it. He runs right into the zone. And we see the nickel on the other side playing zone, and he never plays man. Where Patrick Mahomes fails to pick this up is because Patrick Milano, who's playing as a quarterback spy, he comes down to him, and now he's in his face, so he has to get this ball off. It's fourth quarter game-winning drive. You don't want to take a sack. You don't want to throw it up in the air and get a pick. However, you throw a pick anyway because you're thinking that you have a man look. And if this is a typical man look, McCole Hardman is open right here. He is open, but it's not a man look. That nickel is playing zone, so he can jump this. The reason that it's not a man look, let me tell you why it's not a man look, because a lot of people are confused on what they're seeing here. Look, if it was a man look, this corner on the left side, he would keep running with this guy, but he leads him right into the safety, and they're bracketing this guy, but instead Patrick Mahomes throws the drag, and now the nickel can just jump that, and that's what he does. It results in a pick. And if we talking about just looks, just how does it look on the field? How you making it look when you're pass rushing? James Houston makes it look beautiful. He can hit you with a stutter step. He can get choppy and then burst into a move, or he can hit you with a hesitation like he does right here in that bend. Get so low. And this is another drill that we see pass rushers practice, that I've practiced playing the game of football. You want to get so low to where that hand can touch the ground. Look at his hand. He can touch the ground. The lineman can't reach him. In a veteran lineman, I'm going to show you that in a future clip, you're either going to try to lean with this momentum, just push him into the ground, or just fall. Ian Hutchinson is making NFL right tackles look like practice dummies. He's making them look like practice dummies who just stand up and have no physical presence or being. Just look at what he does. This is a grown man. This is a grown man who has a family. He's on national television. His family is watching, and Aiden Hutchinson doesn't care. I see a play like this, and it's like, man, nah, I don't even know what to think. And that's why I say this is one of the more confusing players to evaluate. One of the most confusing #1 picks ever to evaluate because he can do this. And contrary to his past 2 rushes, look at how he gets off the ball right here. The lineman is in an uncomfortable position as soon as he shoots his hands, he swipes him and he bends around the edge, gets his sack of this game. And it's just, that pops off my screen. That say, oh yeah, I want to take him #1. 6'5", 280, can do something like that. This is the 49ers game. Travis Kelce starts off as the #1 receiver. For the 49ers, it's man coverage across the formation. When he bumps down into the formation, becomes the #3 receiver, what does that do? That forces the outside corner to now guard what was the #2 receiver. Now he's the #1 receiver. So the corner has to bump the coverage and guard him. The inside corner, he has to now guard the #2 receiver, which was previously the 3rd receiver. The 3rd defensive back now has to guard Travis Kelce. Let me tell you a secret about offenses. These guys can run routes. If a guy runs into you, it's a rub route. There's nothing to think about. It's a rub route. He's running into you for a reason, to create a lane for another guy. You're not seat belting anything. You shouldn't be thinking that you're clamping anything because it's not for you. It's to get somebody else open. And right here, look at the #2 receiver. Because he knows that Kelce is running a flat route. What am I going to do? I'm just going to run straight into these guys and cause a conflict. Now we got two guys I'm taking up the space of two guys when Travis Kelce has no one guarding him. Wide open. And he can break a run for this like a touchdown. Right here, he doesn't. But it's just a great play design. And I love the creativity. They really picked on Pat Pete and Harrison Smith. Right here, they block everybody to the right. And then they sneak that tight end out the back door. Pat, wake up. Like, it's like he fell asleep in class. One of them good sleeps, though. One of them sleeps where you drooling on the desk. Right here on this play, we got another episode of Playtime with Patrick Peterson. Isaiah Hodgins, like I said, he's that guy. And right here, he wins against Patrick Peterson in a zone look. But let's talk about the throw from Daniel Jones. This is a big-time throw, moving to the left, throwing, making sure to keep that ball in bounds. Isaiah Hodgins getting his feet down. Daniel Jones has all the talent in the world. But Brian Daboll has officially unlocked it. If the pressure does not get home, it's going to eventually become man. When you guard the guy in your area, you don't stop there. You got to keep running. So right here, we see the Raiders in a cover 2 look. And this is a horrible matchup for the Raiders. Their middle linebacker, because he's covering the middle of the field, he's going to have to run right here with George Kittle. Brock Purdy realizes that from the jump. And then he rolls out to his left to give himself a little more time to make a read. And we see that linebacker running with George Kittle. I'm throwing that ball. And see, this is a great throw because you're fitting it in that window. We got a corner, we got a safety, and a linebacker in this area. 3 Raiders. You trying to get it to George Kittle. You find him in the back of the end zone. The thing about DB coaches, you can also say they're relationship coaches. Because what's the most common thing that a DB coach going to tell you in zone coverage? Don't chase. Right here, the safety becomes a victim to chasing. And something goes out the back door. We see Devontae Adams. Jarrett Stidham rolls out to the left. And like I said, awareness, keeping your eyes downfield, being able to escape the pocket. He does it all on this play. He makes a good one of those guys that knows. He's one of the guys that believes he can make every single tackle. And right here, we're going to see a perfect example of that. He's out of leverage. He almost overruns the play, but he has the effort. He thinks he can make every tackle, and that's why he makes so much tackles. Because most linebackers right here, they'll overrun the play, they'll give 50% effort, and they'll just be done with. But instead, we're going to see Roquan Smith flowing with the play, and instead of overrunning the play right here on the cutback, what does he do? He reaches back, he uses his leverage to his advantage, he tries to square up, and he makes that tackle. Let's focus on what on the TV they don't show and what they don't talk about. Right here, pre-snap, we see Trayvon Diggs and Malik Hooker communicating. We see him doing a little hand motion. We see Trayvon Diggs doing a hand motion. This is telling me that if I get a vertical threat, I got you over the top. And because I'm playing outside leverage, I'm breaking on any outside route. Right here, we see exactly that. We see Malik Hooker in that area. So if he was to come off vertically, then he can come over the top of that, and Trayvon Diggs would be trailing, essentially seeing what we see on the other side with the bracket. We see that corner trailing, and then we see that other safety over the top. That's what we would see on the other side. Across the board, the rest of the guys, everybody's manned up. He throw it to George Kittle, but you don't get much of anything here. And it's just we playing man on man. We're covering you, and we got safety help, so that's not going to work. We got a 3rd and long on the 1-yard line. 3rd and long on the 1-yard line. A lot of teams in this position, they would be conservative. Just don't get a safety and punt the ball. No. Josh Allen, he's Superman. He's going to get this done. So they've run an empty set. No backs in the backfield. They're going to run a play. Gabe Davis. Again, this guy in his zone. We see a guy running out in the flat. But why are you biting on that? Why would you bite on that? If you're the Chiefs secondary, why would you ever bite on that? You should be gaining ground. You see Gabe Davis threatening your zone. You should be sticking with him. What is the flat going to do on a 3rd and long from the 1-yard line? What is the threat of that? If anything, you want to force him into that throw. Force him into that throw, come up and make a tackle. But that's not what he does. Gabe Davis wide open in the middle, 3rd and long. This is a critical play, and the Chiefs don't stop it.